Greetings, I'm Barrett and welcome to Meet Me at the Table. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing of Sword and Sorcery. This is the pledge that I got. It's the Ancient Chronicles. This is the second base box that has been made by Ares Games. Now if you're looking for any Sword and Sorcery content, I did the first chapter on my channel, but if you're looking for even more, please go check out Colin over at One Stop Co-op Shop. He did the entire game, except for I think the last 4 missions that involved the dragon. I think he did every single thing by Sword and Sorcery. And we're actually going to be playing this one together because we're super in love with Sword and Sorcery and we want to see how awesome this game is and how it compares to the original one. So stay tuned for videos from Colin and myself on Sword and Sorcery. We're going to be playing through the base box. Now this is the Wave 1 pledge. At the time of the recording, the second wave is still in production. But I'm going to go ahead, open the box and the stretch goals, and we're going to take a look at all the things that come in this pledge. If you're excited to do that, then I need you to meet me at the table. Let's go ahead and start with the base box you're going to get from Ancient Chronicles. Now, like I said, this is the second box that they've put out. The original one has already been done on my channel and on Colin's as well. What Sword and Sorcery is, if you don't know, is it's a full-on dungeon crawl for up to 1 to 5 players. And we're going to go ahead and take a look. Now, there's some wonderful punch boards and everything right at the beginning. In this unboxing, the only thing you're not going to see is the rule book. The rule book is actually at Colin's house right now. He's in charge of reading the rules, and I'm in charge of getting the things painted up and ready to play. We're working together to get this game onto the channels as fast as we can. The other thing about the Sword and Sorcery is that's cool is the new rule book they've made actually has parts in the rule book with little symbols that tell you all the new parts that are in the rule book. So if you've played a lot of Sword and Sorcery and you got the base game down, the only thing you have to do is kind of read some of the other rules that have the little symbols next to them to really know the new parts that are happening in this game. Here's the punch boards. There's a lot of them. We're going to go through a lot of those punch boards, but first I want to show you a little bit more of what's inside this game. Mainly, here it is. Here's the storybook. The storybook is going to be our adventure going through Sword and Sorcery. You can either play this as a campaign or one-shot scenarios. It's going to tell you how to go ahead and set up all the different scenarios that you're going to be playing. It has this neat deck, event deck that you shuffle up but have certain order for certain cards that make the events happen. It also tells you to be going to this book of secrets, which we are going to look at just in a moment. And then if you wanted to, like I said, you could play these as one-shots. Here's the quest for quest 1, so I don't mind showing you this, but it shows you right down here how your characters should be powered up if they were going to take on the scenario you wish to play as a one-shot. So it does have that. Plus, of course, it tells you the enemies. But the cool thing about this, you have this whole thing laid out. Look, here's these story points. You don't know what those are, and you're going to find out what those are inside this book of secrets. This book of secrets will tell you all the things that happen to your characters as they go through it. Now, I'm not going to even open this book, not even to a single page, to see what's inside here. We're going to be totally surprised as to what happens as we play through the game. In this book, it's going to trigger different events that happen throughout our story. Now, before I dig farther on, let's go ahead and look at those punch boards. This first punch board has some really cool art on it. I'm a big fan of this one. I have no idea what this is, but if you notice, these are going to punch out of here, and then all these can interconnect into any way you want. And it's, well, actually, it's going to be the way that the story tells you to play out, but they are double-sided. It has numbers A and B on it, so it shows you exactly how these are supposed to go. For example, it might be something like that, and you're going to go like that. This right here is a line of sight tool. If these points can connect and your characters are standing on it, they can see any of these other points that are on here. That's important as you're playing through to see if different things spawn based on where you are on the map. Up here we have our tokens that are going to tell us what spawned onto the map. This would be, for example, 2 enemies, and there are going to be other ones in here that could be like civilians. There could be ones that have treasure. You never know what's going to be out there. That's the cool thing about this. And when you play it, if it's very similar to Sword and Sorcery, you're not going to be placing all of them. They're going to tell you to take like 5, but only put down like 2 or 3 or 4. So some of you might not even see. These are waypoint tokens, and these are going to help trigger different events inside that book of secrets. Let's continue with more of these punch boards. I'm just going to bring them all out of here. And again, here's more of those tokens. We also have more maps, and look, not even all the maps are straight. Look, this one curves a little bit. I don't even know what this is, but that's absolutely amazing. It looks like a mage den of some kind. Oh, look at this. It looks like a giant spider web. Oh, this is great. I don't want to fight spiders. Why do dungeon crawlers always have to have spiders? I'm deathly afraid of anything with more than 4 legs. That includes bugs and spiders, and they're always going to be in all my dungeon crawlers. This right here most likely is going to be for our heroes. Our heroes are going to get their own dial, and they're going to be leveling up, and you're going to spin the dial inside here to show what different numbers are corresponding with the symbols here, which are going to be like health and skills and actions they can use during their turn. The higher level they are, the more things they can do. And again, we got more power-ups here, and we have these, I think these are the critical hit tokens, if I remember right. And then you're going to flip these over, and they're going to do certain things inside this world. And some of these may have changed from the last one, because of course they're giving a whole new set of tiles and everything. Wow, look at that one. That's pretty awesome. We also have Sword and Sorcery doors. We won't be using these. I have a whole set of 3D doors. We're going to be using those instead. And look, here's a whole bunch more tokens. I have my own coins. We're not going to be using these coins, but I believe these are poison. This is, I believe these are power tokens that you're going to be able to use to activate certain things on your weapons or potentially your characters. Here's some health tokens right here. Armor tokens. We also have attack up and down tokens, I believe is what these are, +1 and +2s. We also have treasure chests right here. And again, I have my own treasure chests from the original Kickstarter that we're going to be using, the 3D ones. We have even more here. Here's some standee that we could use, but I have miniatures. I don't know why I'd use standees, but maybe some of the things aren't all standees. We also have, again, magic armor. We have armor down tokens. I'm guessing these are time tokens of some kind. And these are going to be put down on your terrain to signify if it's harder or easier to move through it. Let's see, we also, looks like we got a web token. Here comes some spiders. This will be awesome. All right, so those are all our punch boards. Now let's go ahead and look at the heroes that are in this game. I went looking for the hero names, but I forgot that Colin actually has a rule book, so he actually has the heroes' names. So I don't have the hero names in front of me. I apologize. But here are the 5 different heroes that come in the base game. So we have this character right here. Looks more like an assassin or rangery type character. We have, of course, a big giant fighter guy. There's a thief, I'm guessing. We also have like a paladin or cleric type character. And then we have like our wizard or warlock type character. And of course, on the back side are the flip side of these characters. For those that have not played Sword and Sorcery before, this game comes with a lawful and chaotic side for each of our characters. So when you go to choose your character, you're going to choose either to be lawful or chaotic. Some of the characters are actually neutral, which means when you play the game, you can play with lawful and neutral together or neutral and chaotic together. Of course, there is like a alternate way of playing where you could actually play with anybody you want. Because after all, you're going to want to try to have fun. So you want to play with what you want and let everybody else do that as well. So if someone want to be chaotic, want to be lawful, I really don't think that's going to be too big of a deal. It's just kind of a way of keeping the game in a certain direction where you want to be the kind of people you want to be. So we've got all our characters to be. Colin and I have decided we're going to play with 3 characters. We're not sure which ones we're going to be. So if you have any comments, if you want to go ahead in the comments below, tell me which ones you're interested in. Maybe we'll play one of those. That'll be kind of fun. So we're going to go ahead and put these aside, and we're going to see we also have a couple of our big enemies here, and these are dual-sided as well, and I'm not sure exactly how they're going to function, but it's going to be pretty cool. All right, those are done. We also have these. These are new to this realm of Sword and Sorcery. The original Sword and Sorcery was a straight-up dungeon crawler. You would go through your missions and slowly go through the dungeon crawl as you went towards the end boss. But in this one, you're actually going to be traveling through the Under Rain, which is a whole subterranean area. And so you're going to be going through this, and what you come across is what you're going to have to deal with. For example, right here we have our Begin Quest 1. So we're going to start right here when we actually do our playthrough. And as we go through it, then we're going to come to this, which is actually found inside, of course, our Book of Secrets. I haven't seen it. I don't know what's in there, and I'm not going to take a look. But just know that this is really cool, because as you play through this, the choices you make inside the Under Rain might send you in different ways outside of what is actually on this back page right here, which is pretty cool. And even there, inside there, you're going to be finding places like this that, again, you're going to be making choices in based on what you've seen, which is really cool. So I'm excited to see all the different things that happen inside this game when it comes to all these different locations inside the Under Rain of this game. It's a new feature they've thrown into the second box of Sword and Sorcery, and it really is going to be a cool upgrade. We also have a player aid here, which is going to be neat. It's going to tell us all different things and all different tokens of what they do, which will be really good, and how exactly to interact with all the different places. It's basically a simplified version of the rulebook. Of course, the rulebook you're going to have to read to understand this game, and it's a pretty lengthy rulebook. We looked at it. It's about 60-some pages long. But again, inside that rulebook, they have little tags that show you what is new about this version. So if you have read the whole rulebook before, you might be able to just get away with that. We've got our cards, which are going to have treasures. It's also going to have a lot of our abilities for our heroes, so we're going to take a look at those. We also have our enemy cards here. Our enemies all activate in AIs, and I'm going to show you some of that. That's going to be really cool. We have our custom-made Sword and Sorcery dice. We have red and blues. These both have different types of symbols, meaning they're able to do different things. So some might be better for weapons, some better for spells, some better for protecting. It all depends on what your items and abilities on your character are going to be able to doing. These are going to be the little inserts that you put inside your soul gems to keep keep yourself leveled up. On our character board, you see right up here is where we're going to slot that thing that tells us what level our characters is and how many actions, how many skills, how many abilities they have. It's all going to fit right in this area right here. It's really cool. And to set another set of this. And then, of course, we have our miniatures. But let's go ahead and look at the cards first. Here are all the different enemies, and they're all going to be doing different things. We're going to quickly look at one of them. We're going to look at this giant spider, because I know for a fact this is the very first monster you're going to be fighting. And the neat thing about this game is they have its own built-in AI system for each enemy you're fighting. So it kind of changes this from a complete straight random dungeon crawler, which is dice, 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 to almost a puzzle type feel, which is really cool. So you can kind of plan out your ways of being able to take out the enemies. Of course, there's still dice involved, so not everything is going to go as planned, but it's still a cool system. This one is our green one. There's usually green, blue, and red of each enemy, or some type in that fashion. This tells you what heroes they're going to be going after, and down here it tells us what it's going to be doing. So if you're 0 squares away, it's going to try to do this. If you're 1 to 2, it's going to do this. And if it's more than that, it's going to do that. Down here, it's going to have powers that it's going to be able to do, and then it's going to show you what its actual attack is. It's going to either bite or web, and it's going to see the dice you're going to roll and what its effects are going to be and what damage it's going to be causing. So this is really cool. Now, of course, there's green, blue, and red of all these enemies. For example, here's one right here. We have, I'm not going to show you because I don't want to see it myself. It says right here, Elf Assassin. Notice also it has Elf Witch and Elf Priestess. So these are all going to be the 3 different elf type miniatures, but they're going to be green, blue, and red. And you're going to see them. They're inside this box. So I don't mind seeing all the miniatures. I have to paint them. It's going to be great. But I don't want to see exactly everything they do. So though that's the monsters. These are the kind of, like I said, has a really cool AI system that's going to happen. And on the back, of course, it has a really cool piece of art that helps me paint up all the miniatures. So I'm going to paint a spider. It's going to look like that. Super awesome. I'm deathly afraid of spiders. All right. We're going to go ahead and put those aside and look at some of the ability cards. First, we have our character cards. I know their names now. I totally forgot they were going to be inside here. This is going to be what you're going to slot down on top of your character board, and that'll help, of course, determine which class you want to be and which alignment you want to be. So for example, if we take Artemis the Scout, she's going to be the lawful character because of the 2 white wings, and it's going to have this ability. It looks like she brings out a lone wolf or something once per round. If there's no other heroes in your area, you may perform an extra weapon attack. So I guess you don't get to bring out a wolf. Now, of course, you can flip her over, and this is her soul side. When you die in this game, you actually continue playing, which is really cool, until you can find a waypoint where you can try to bring yourself back, and that's going to cost soul shards, which are also used to level your guys. So dying a lot is not a very good plan in this game because it prevents you from leveling up. We also have, of course, our evil side as well, our chaotic side. So it's got a totally different power. And this shows how many items she can have. This is what she needs to roll when she has to make saves in the game. And this is the speed value. 4 speed, that's pretty good. But notice the save is different and the bag size is different. So each character is completely different. This is the class up here that they are. And like you saw in one of the monsters, it targets certain classes based on what you are. We now have Thorgrin right here. He's either a gladiator or a stone rager. We have Robin, an alchemist. It's pretty funny. Now notice he's got both symbols. That means he is neutral. He can play with either the chaotic or the lawful side, whichever you decide. Oh, we have Robin the Thief. We also have Genie here, the Avenger, or the Inquisitor. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. We've got the Zactaris, the Illusionist. I probably said it wrong. Or a Wild Mage. Wow, that's kind of cool. Now, of course, Colin said, I think you'd like to play the lawful side, so we'll probably do that. So we'll have to pick one of these 5 guys to play with. That's pretty sweet. Those are the characters. Now, of course, they also have powers as well. And this is an entire deck of all the different powers that we have in this game, which is just ridiculous. So, of course, you're going to grab your character that have the powers, and you're going to give them powers based on what they can use. So, for example, here's one. They can only use this at level 1, but of course it can power up to 5. So at level 5 it can become more powerful. Over here it shows how long it takes for that power to come back. And over here it tells you what type of character can use this. So the lawful character use guard, while prey of the herd is used by the evil character, the chaos character. And as you go forward, you're able to gain more of these based on your soul shards and what you spend them on. And of course we have him. He's got his evil cards here. You can tell by him being in the middle, or we got the good cards right here. And then he should have some just generic cards. That means any side, either the lawful or the chaotic side can use this card. So you're going to decide when you start the game which ones to start with. The alchemist has his, of course the thief has his. Even being neutral, he's still going to have one specific to his class. And then of course the neutral ones, or not neutral, but the ones that both sides can use. And every character is like that. We've got the Inquisitor here. We also have the heal. I'm guessing this is probably a healer. If it's my guess, I might be wrong here. But until the next time phase, the action hero gains attack or defending. One body condition, there's a heal of some kind. All right. And then we've got our mage, of course, too. I'm going to guess that's not the healer. So those are all our things. Then, of course, we've got more here for our Artemis. What's this? Oh, these, what is this? Are these the talent? So talents are different. Okay, that was a little confused when I saw an Artemis card. Talents are things you're going to gain as you go through this, and they're just going to be kind of a bonus to a character. And anybody can kind of pick the one they want, but once they take it, they have that talent that they're going to be able to use. So for example, at level 1, this talent would allow you to reroll any search die if you wanted to. And that you might, when you're leveling your character, you might have to pick a talent, and that's what you need to pick from. We also have an entire deck of traps. These are all going to do different things to us as we go through. We'll go ahead and look at one. We found no trap. That's the one I show. It's the one in the back. Let's find an actual trap. Let's not find that one. Let's find one that actually just hurts us. Here we go. Spawning portal. That's not going to hurt us. It's going to spawn an enemy. So that's all the different things. Some of the traps. Here's our treasure deck. Again, huge treasure deck. When we look at one treasure, I don't want to show too many of them, but these treasures are all going to be different. Here we found flaming knives. That sounds absolutely awesome, which is going to allow us to do more damage based on the dice roll. Of course, it's probably better than the one we have. We'll have to, this shows who can use it. It's gonna be pretty cool. I'm excited to get back into Sword and Sorcery. So we have a whole set of traps. We also have those event decks. When I showed you the campaign book, it had some of these events, and it tells you to shuffle these on top of certain cards, and other things will happen. So this is all the things that are going to trigger during our story, and some of them might be reused and trigger certain events. I don't again want to look too many of those because I don't want to spoil anything. Then the cool thing about this game is that as you play through this, you can actually find the enemies become a little bit different based on these powers. It may tell you to pick a power, and then you go ahead, draw power, and that means that this enemy is going to have this power, and at a certain point in the campaign, it's going to switch, and it's going to get even a more powerful power at Act 2 versus Act 1. Now, I believe everything in this base game is all Act 1. Act 2 is coming in the next wave. But here, for example, the monster we're fighting is going to be a veteran. It's going to have this ability to reroll all hit and defense dice, which is bad news. Bad news city, I'm telling you. You don't want that. So it does make each of the enemies eventually a little bit more different, which is pretty cool. More different. That was an awesome sentence. Oh, wow, I'm on a roll here. We're going to go ahead and check out. These are, of course, our enemies. Again, here's are the cards for these enemies. For example, when it told us we're going to be fighting green spiders, you're going to take both of these, shuffle them up, and then when you go to draw an enemy, you're going to draw one of the enemies. It's going to, again, tell you what type of enemy and how much it has. This is its presence on the board. This is a new thing. This shows you when you're going to determine who has priority or seniority, I guess. Seniority is a bad word for it. In the square you're in, if you have more characters than enemies, you're going to gain a bonus, where if the enemies have more than you, they're going to gain a bonus. And this shows you how much of the enemy equals one of you. So this is a 1-to-1. Some might have 3 here, which means it's equal to 3 heroes. It's called Presence. It's a new power. It has 4 health, and you're going to gain an experienced soul gem if you defeat this enemy. Where the other one is probably going to give you, the other one's only going to give you gold. So it's random kind of which one you're going to pick out here. And as you play through it, you're going to be adding more and more to this deck. So you're not just going to keep fighting these same 2 guys over and over and over again. So there's a whole bunch of monsters in here, and they're all going to be giving us different things. And of course, like I said, same monster, but they're going to be giving you different things when you destroy them, which is pretty cool. Then we have some encounter cards, which you're going to be drawing, and then that's also going to trigger things in this game. There's so much going on in this game. It's absolutely amazing. So for example, here's one of our encounter cards. It tells us activate all enemies that have this, otherwise activate up to 2 enemies. So after each turn, we're going to be drawing one of these cards, and we're going to be doing what it says. And then that's going to be what triggers in the game. So your monster might not even attack you the turn that it's out, or when you do something. You never know. And now we have, of course, some of our items as well. We have our normal items. Now, you're going to know these are normal items by the word stash down here. These are the ones that at the very beginning of the game, you're going to be able to choose from. You don't even have to buy them. They're just laying on the ground. You just pick up what you want. At least that's what they did in the original Sword and Sorcery. It might be different here. We'll see how the game plays out. So you might get a broadsword. You can choose a knife. Now, of course, this shows who can use it. This shows who can't use it. This tells you how many hands it takes to use this, either 1 or 2 if you want to use it. This is a one-handed weapon. This is a 1 or 2-handed weapon, I guess. I would have to remember exactly. But it also shows you what dice you're going to be rolling, the range on it, and also what might extra things activate based on your die roll. These are like things that can trigger inside here. If you roll a Sword and Sorcery number on this, or Sword and Sorcery symbol on this, which is a 1 in 10 chance, you get to do that ability, which is kind of cool. So we've got some really cool ones. Now, of course, as we go through it, eventually we can maybe buy some stuff at a store so we can get a longsword, which looks 2 red, looks a lot better than this broadsword over here with just 2 red, and this one gives an extra hit. So you're automatically doing 1 extra hit, which is kind of cool. Plus, now on top of that, it gives a lot more abilities down here. So there's all these different weapons and items, and armor I think is going to be in here as well, I bet. Yeah, here we go. We found like a shield. There's a shield right there. We've also, there's got to be armor in here as well, wouldn't there? Or are these just weapons? Weapons and shields, looks like. Huh, I bet there's some armor here somewhere. Yes, here's some armor. So we got chainmail, but we have to buy it. But it gives us some extra defense. It also allows us to roll blue dice when being attacked to try to defend against. We're going to look for shields then when that happens. Of course, only those type of characters can use it. So there are some different items, or sorry, armor in this game, which is pretty cool. There's also just some random items that you can buy from the store. They're all these type of things. For example, you can buy just a potion of healing, and it costs 15 gold, and the target hero heals 4. Or you can buy a more powerful version for 45, which heals 8 hit points. It's a healing elixir. Why not? So there's some things you can buy at the store. Plus, of course, all the items you decided not to purchase, or all the other items that actually have a cost value on it are going to be in there as well. So for example, the shield would be there. You could buy it for 50. And you'd go to the store in the game when it tells you to. That's really about all the cards there are, except for these right here. These are going to be there's a character that I believe, well, apparently one that can use illusions. That makes sense. He's an illusionist. And there's also a character that can bring out a pet of some kind. I have no idea what these cards are. Absolutely none. So we'll see how those work in the playthrough, because I don't know what those are. It's the first thing I don't know about this game. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at these miniatures and see what they look like. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so now, oh, they come in different colors, and that's exactly how they did in the first one. Because the green, like I said, are going to be those green monsters, and you got the blue monsters, and you got the red monsters, and of course here are heroes, and those are our boss characters. Look at this one's got a serpent body. That's awesome. This snake looks really good. Look at that snake. That snake looks really cool. It looks like that's 2 different types of spiders here, one there and one there. And it looks like it's this big giant scorpion down here. That's terrifying. We've got dinosaurs this time. Look at this dinosaur guy. Pretty cool. Now here are our heroes. Like I said, there's one of the pets. We have our alchemist or thief character. Looks like here's that inquisitor character. They look just like they do on their character cards. That's pretty cool. I like this one. There's that, oh, look at that. Cloak looks really neat. All right, what's this? Oh, this is that. Really? What? Okay, not happy with this miniature. Really? You put her hand right in front of her face? Are you kidding me? That's terrible. I might have to somehow bring it down a little bit. Why would I want it in front of her? Okay, not happy with that miniature. That's pretty bad. Bad miniature. Really? Put it in front of her face? Why would you put it in front of her face? Okay, that's all the characters here. We got a wizard here of some kind. Cool. All right, those are the miniatures that are in the base box and all the cards that came in the base box. Now, of course, there is an entire stretch goals box as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and look at our stretch goals box. Now, sadly, mine get a little banged up on the side here, but that's okay. This is really just paper on the front, and I'm okay with that because I'm going to put this in a super satchel when I'm all done. What's a super satchel, you ask? Good thing you asked. I will show you at the end of the video, so stick around. You'll see what a super satchel is. Here, of course, the neat little logo. Let's go ahead and, oh, wow. It's just all a bunch of boxes. All right, we're going to go ahead. Let's see what the boxes we got are. Though they're going to glare quite a bit, and I apologize. We got Gurnry and Shako. Oh, these are 2 extra characters. There's another set of characters we can be. Let's see what these 2 are. These are chaotic familiars and lawful familiars, so we'll see what those are. We also have this, which is the challenge set. Again, apologizing for the glare. Kickstarter set. We've got, these are going to be okay, these are what we like. Okay, I'm going to look at those 2. Those are awesome. I love those. We're going to go ahead and, that says Ancient Chronicles, alternate ghost soul forms. We have spawn gates and god altars. We've got minions. We've got nemesises. We've got, no, they're not attacking a ship. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ghost soul form heroes. And we've got a alternate hero set. And then, okay, let's see what else we got in here. We've got, we got a sword and sorcery bag. Another one. I've got one already. We've got a whole bunch of these card protect holder things. We've got more dice. I'm always a big fan of more dice. We got more cards that probably go along with some of the stuff that's in these Kickstarter parts here, which is going to be pretty. We got trade cards. I don't even know what those are. We've got no idea what any of this is. This is Remembrance. All right, we'll see what that is. And we've got another, wow, more stuff on the bottom I can't even get out. All right, let's have to dump this thing over to get it out. Oh, look at this. I think doing that was awesome because look at this. I believe this is probably the list of every single backer. Just probably looks like a bunch of random white dots to you all. But this is I believe I'm going to guess all the different backers that have done this game. My name's somewhere in there. These are the player boards to those new characters I talked about just a couple seconds ago. And some other stuff. So we're going to take a look at all this. Look at this. Turned into an empty table here. Let's put some stuff on it. The first thing we have here is a picture of the underneath or under rain, and it's without anything written. They do have one on the back that has everything written like it does in the back of the book. So it's neat that they have that. You can just put this up on your wall. Man, you know, so I might put this back in my painting station. It's pretty cool looking. They also did come with another place to visit. Again, not sure exactly how these work, but I'm pretty excited to see how they do. There's one for Act 1 and there's a backside for Act 2. So this will be used probably in both campaigns that you're going to be getting through Sword and Sorcery, of course, if you get Act 2 as well. We're also going to go ahead and check out, this is really an interesting feature. These are remembrance cards. There's a whole bunch of them. You're going to pick one, I believe, based on your character class. And then once you pick the one you decide to have, it's got a whole bunch of questions on it. And you're going to try to, and you can answer these any way you want, but of course you might want to do it the way you feel. For example, here's one for task you successfully obtain. So once you obtain these tasks, you're going to make the check mark here as to which one you're able to do. A lesser God's blessing or greater God's blessing. Which one did you get? Question. Infidels can be redeemed, must be eradicated, and their possessions confiscated. Make the choice. And then on the back, it then tells you what symbol you're going to gain based on your answer to A and B. Once that is completed, you're going to flip it over and you're going to gain a background talent based on the number that the symbol you got the most of. And the background talents are right here. So each one of these you're going to be obtaining. This is all completely optional. You do not have to include this in your game, but these are going to be pretty interesting. For example, one of them you can get is this Colossus one, or the Longshoreman one. -1 speed, but you gain health equal to, and your backpack space equal to the act. There's also a Colossus one. Here it is. I knew I saw Colossus somewhere. You get +3 health, but look at this. You lose -1 speed and you lose a type of action in the game. So this is something you can add to the game, which is going to be able to enhance your character and bring him more to life. This next small deck of cards is our all talents, and these talents span all of Sword and Sorcery. It's this box and all the stuff from the original box, and these are going to be you can use to play onto your characters and give them an advantage or disadvantage when making them easier or harder. And these are set for all the different types of characters. For example, this is a guy from the very beginning one, so you're going to be a human hope. During the day, you may reroll any failed save, human despair. During nighttime, each time you succeed at a save, you must reroll again and succeed or fail based on a second roll. Wizardry skin, once per round, you may ignore 1 poison or bleed. So it kind of gives some advantages, but disadvantages as well. So this is another way that can kind of enhance the game to make each of our characters a little bit more unique. Next, we have the cardboard versions of the ones that were inside the base box. These, of course, are more sturdy. I'll be using these during the playthrough because I just like them better. They're the ones that are going to be for our base heroes. Now, over on this side, you're probably wondering what this is. Once all of these are put together, it creates a really cool deck holding system that is able to hold all of our cards in Sword and Sorcery, all the little small cards, all those enemy cards, the treasure cards, all those can all be set to the side, and you can just draw them from inside this super cool deck holding thing. We'll put those aside. We also have our player boards, the more thicker ones for the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, or the stuff that's in the stretch goal stuff, and also the alternate heroes as well. And they're just falling out of here, which means they're really put in there nicely punched in because they come out nice and easily. So there are going to be alternate versions of each of the heroes. So you can choose to play either a male hero or a female hero. And oh my gosh, look at this one. Oh, this looks awesome. Look at how cool that is. Wow, look, she's got like this soul coming out of her. What's the back? This is the Inquisitor. Same thing, just a little bit different color. All right, that's pretty awesome. Oh, that's a pretty cool picture. All right, we're going to put these aside as they slowly fall out all over the table here. We also got some tuck boxes that will hold our 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5th level ability cards, and also our stash, which is the base equipment you're going to get. We'll put those aside. We also have this bag. I'm never going to take it out. It's a bag. I think you know what a bag is. Extra dice. You know what extra dice are. We don't need to open those. Now let's start looking at some of our boxes. We have our Ancient Chronicles Chaotic and Lawful Familiars. And the cool thing is on the back, they actually have little sayings for each of the boxes that we have here. So we've got our sheet to tell us how to use our Lawful Familiars, and they have the miniatures right here, of course, in front of this entire nice big piece of plastic. Please tell me they taped it. That'd be awesome. They did. Oh, thank you so much for taping this. Oh, it's almost impossible to open. All right, here they are. We have, looks like a lizard, a little dog, an owl, a fairy, and a boar. Those are our lawful familiars. Let's go ahead and here's, of course, the cards for them. Here's the dog. And the rules for how these work are all inside the pack there. I'm not going to open these. We saw what they are. Looks like it has 4 speed. Comes maybe at its rank. Its soul health is equal to the soul rank divided by 2. And then it has some abilities that you're going to be able to do, and it rolls 2 blue dice for something. If the dice set are all unused, okay, some cards for them. Let's look at the chaotic familiars. I'm going to try to put these up there without it glaring on them, and I'm not going to open it. Oh, you can even see me. That's kind of cute. All right, we're going to go ahead and I guess that's about the best I can do. All right, and of course the rules for them are in here as well. And I'm going to go ahead and get the other ones opened as well so we don't have all this glaring happening. But these are all the different familiars that are coming in the game, the lawful and all the chaotics and all the cards that come with them. Next, we have our alternate hero set, and again, shows us a little bit about each of the alternate heroes. It's just probably going to talk about how they're pretty much the same type of hero, except in an alternate form. And I've already taken out, so we don't have to worry about that glaring thing anymore. But we got these neat new miniatures that are going to be the alternate heroes of them. And I'll paint these all up so they look pretty cool. We've got, of course, that female warrior as opposed to the male warrior. And these, of course, are going to be all the cards. Now, I'm not sure if the cards are going to be different because I didn't really pay too much attention as we're going through them. I'm not going to open up all the cards, but it does come with not only that, but it also comes with the paper versions of these. But like we saw before, we do have the sturdier cardboard ones, which is what we'll be using. It's got their soul shards, and it's got some of the... Looks like, oh, these are going to be their ghost forms, I'm guessing. If they, or no, I bet this is the illusionist figure. Because remember, one of them is an illusionist, I bet. And it's got the little token that goes along with it. And it's got its little soul shards there as well. All right, let's move on. Next, we're going to go ahead and take a look at our monk pack, which is pretty cool. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at what we got here. It's actually really neat. So we've got our thing that tells us a little about them. And one thing I want to mention about this is we are able to use these in the base Immortal Soul Saga. You can use all of these in the base Immortal Soul Saga, but it does tell you do have to remove some of the stuff from it. For example, you don't get these things here, from what I understand. So this is, again, gives us a little bit about each of the characters, a little bit probably of what their powers are doing and how they actually perform. Then we have the sheets that we're not going to use, these little flimsy ones. We have the tokens that go along with them. We also have, of course, their soul shard thing here, their leveling system. We have, this is our little bookmark symbol. I didn't talk about this before. You place this down here, and then when they're done, you flip it over so you can remember which heroes have activated and which ones haven't. Now, the cool thing about this, I get to show off all the different parts of this game just with this box. So we do come with our 2 Nemesis cards. So there are the red are going to be our Nemesis. So all these characters are going to have a Nemesis. This is their ghost form. So if they do die, they have their ghost form that go on the board. Then, of course, they have their actual hero. Wow, does she have claws? She has claws! That's pretty cool. Oh man, eat your heart out, Vega. She's going to be rolling around too. Then they've, of course, both got their different decks of ability cards. And it looks like, oh, and then the enemy stuff, which is going to have to do probably with the Nemesis stuff. So that's a really good glimpse into some of the stuff that might be coming up as well. So that is our monk pack. We have another hero pack here as well, the Sigrid Hello Hero Pack, which is Thane and Skald. Basically, it's a new group that you can bring in, another class. There's their hero boards. Of course, we saw that they have the other ones as well. They're going to have the same, well, he's got Flaming Hammer token. That's awesome. Here's the miniatures that go along with it. Oh, wow, look at that. That looks pretty cool. Oh, look at her. She's got a big horn. That's pretty awesome too. All right, we have this one now. Of course, just like the monks, they've got the ghost and the nemesis as well. Then we also have, again, their stat cards based on, I bet they're, well, I wonder if they're both going to be neutral, or they could be, well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how this works. Maybe I'll play one of them. We'll see. That looks kind of cool. It kind of looks kind of neat. But we've seen a lot of him in the Avengers movies lately. He, I'm guessing, throws lightning down because, I mean, why wouldn't you got a bunch of lightning on your card? Look, lightning everywhere. So we have seen these guys throw lightning all over the board, which would be pretty cool. But that's that one. Of all the things we've opened so far, this is by probably the biggest game changer there is. Not the fact that it changes the game, but it's going to make, I think, this game such a more interesting experience. This is the challenge set. What this does is this allows you to manipulate the challenge that you're going to be giving yourself inside this game. I'm super excited to show you exactly what this is all about. It comes with 2 sets of miniatures, blue and green. This allows you to go ahead and adjust it either up or down. If you remember the unboxing, what miniatures I showed, which weren't on for very long, we had 2 green snakes. Now there are some blue snakes in here. We also had 2 green spiders. So you can go ahead and manipulate the difficulty. So if you think this game is too easy, you can change some of the monsters out to make them harder. Or if you think it's too hard, you can make it easier. It's all up to you how you want to have the style of game you want to play. And right here on this card, it shows you what you need to get rid of. So for quest 1, you could go ahead and remove the 2 green spiders and replace them with the 2 blue spiders. And I've gone ahead and grabbed the green spider card and the blue spider card to show you the difference here. Now, from what I understand, there's not going to be too much of a difference in what they do, but there is going to be a difference on kind of how much damage they do in there. See, now the blue one's going to get 1 automatic hit and 2 red, and it's going to be able to do poison 2, where this one only is going to hit 2 red, 1, and poison 1. So it is a stronger enemy. And if you look at the cards, it has the 2 different cards. We have, remember our green spiders? They have 1 presence, 4 health, 5 gold, and 1 soul gem. Now if we look at the blue spiders, that we could just go ahead and replace in the very first mission, making it more difficult for ourselves if we want. They have 1 presence each, 6 health, 5 gold, and 1 soul shard. So you are not giving up anything when you play this except to make the game a little bit tougher to replace them with these. They still are going to give you the same reward, so you're not going to be advancing super fast and becoming more powerful. They scale it in that way. This is really, really cool. One thing I noticed in the sword and sorcery games, sometimes you got a little bit more powerful than the monsters, and it was hard to keep the monsters from being, it was hard to keep them, I guess what you could say is a challenge. So this is a really cool concept of being able to keep this game challenging. And then on top of that, if even you thought these 2 spiders in the first game were too much, you could still draw a power card for them if you wanted to give them a special power, making them even more powerful. So this is a really, really big game changer. I'm really excited for this. And it comes with a whole bunch of different cards. Now, like I said, you could also make them easier. I believe we could go ahead and move, like instead of then we have the blue serpents to make it harder, but I believe these tyrant lizards were blue. You could make them green, so you could make it a little bit easier by playing the green ones, if I remember it. I could be wrong, but this is awesome. I am super pumped for this. If you can't tell, this is something that really, really is exciting to me. All right, we're going to put this aside and we're going to move on to our next box of awesome goodness inside Sword and Sorcery. Next, we have our Kickstarter set. This really is just a box with a new hero in it and returning oldie but a goldie. We've got some tokens and everything. This is our new hero. This is Mist, if I remember right. Let's see if I'm right. I think it's called Mist. Well, here's Tristan. Tristan's an oldie but a goldie. He was in the original Kickstarter as a, I think you had to, it was an add-on of some kind, but he's coming back. He's got his nemesis now. Here's Mist. Mist is a new character. We saw the punch board for it. I thought it was absolutely glorious. It's right here. This is the one we saw, and I was like, oh my gosh, who's that? So it's this person right here. Look at it. Here's her ghost miniature. Here's her real miniature, and then of course we have Siegfried right here. He's right here. Or, sorry, Tristan, not Siegfried. Tristan as a nemesis. This is one of the boss monsters, from what I understand, but it's when he's not mounted. And I believe his card is already in the base game. Here's his. Here's the different nemesises right here, and a little bit about him. We also have the pack of cards for her, depending on which side you want to play. But this was some of the stuff that was opened during the Kickstarter. So this is the Kickstarter set. Next, we just have the alternate ghost soul forms. They're just miniatures of the ghost forms for the alternate miniatures, really is all they are. But I want to highlight this one. This one doesn't put the sword in front of his face. Really, really nice. Look, there's no sword in front of his face on this one. I'm still bitter about that, if you can't tell. Can't believe they put a sword in front of his face. All right, there we go. Next, we have the spawn gates and god altars. This is just the way of replacing the actual tokens, which are pretty cool. I'm a big fan of these. I'm going to paint these up. Oh, these look really good. Oh, they got the little symbol down here. That's pretty awesome. Look, no gremlins, which is pretty neat. All right, I'm going to put that one back. They've got a few of them in here. This one looks pretty. Oh, these are the ones that we, I think, get to spawn on, is what if I remember right. These are going to be the ones that we get to use. This is our token, I think, that we're going to be moving around on the map as we're moving around, just to kind of symbolize where we are. I'm guessing that's what it is. And then it came with a pack of treasure cards. I'm not going to look at them. We're just going to place them right back there. And that's the spawn gates and god altars. Next, we have a pack of minions. This is, again, just something that's going to be replacing some of the tokens we put out here for, like, example, vermins and nests and whatever these are. So we're going to go ahead and just place these out on the board when we need to. I think that's really all this pack is. It's just replacements for tokens that you'd normally put on the board. Next we have our box of Nemesis, and this is just the core base Nemesis characters, and it comes with the status, the sheet that goes along with them. This is going to show that you're going to be spawning one of them, and to use these, you just replace one of the tokens with this spawn token instead. So it's kind of cool. You can add this or not add this, it's up to you, and you can put this in at any time during the game. Now the other thing this comes with, I actually opened up the cards because it comes with these things called bond cards, which are kind of cool. You can actually create a bond with a character, and that means you're going to be able to gain this little extra ability. So for example, this right here, if you you are in the same area as a friend, you can move one area ignoring the reaction attacks. Your friend suffers hit points for each enemy in the area. So you kind of help each other out a little bit. So it's kind of neat. You can form little bonds, and that's found inside this Nemesis pack. Next we have the Ghost Soul forms for our heroes. Now I'm going to take them out. You've seen what these are. We saw the alternate set. Same thing for these. They're just a way of replacing your miniature with a Ghost Soul when he dies. All right, let's go on. Coming near the end, we have these. These are the original characters from Sword and Sorcery, and you can now carry them over into the next game. Now, you don't get to carry everything about them over, but if you say there's a character in this base game you wanted to play it, you didn't get a chance to in Sword and Sorcery, like say you didn't get the chance to play this guy. Well, if you didn't get a chance to play this guy, go check out my playthrough. I played this guy. You can go ahead and bring him into the new one. They have one for each of the heroes, including all the different unlocked heroes from the last stretch goals and everything that was ever made for the original Sword and Sorcery. That's all these characters. The only thing I think we have left to show you is what a super satchel is. In case you don't know, I'm going to show you. This is an art bin super satchel. For those of you that play a lot of dungeon crawlers and just don't have the space to want to store all these little boxes all over your entire game collection, I picked this up. I can pick this up at my local craft store like Joann Fabrics or Michael's or something like that. They usually have a sale about 40 or 50% off these every once in a while that comes around. So I can usually pick this thing up. I think it normally retails for about 60. I can usually get it for about 30, give or take, depending on. You can also find it on Amazon. Go ahead and take a look for it. I'm actually going to put the link for it from Amazon in the description of this video. But please go check out some other places if you're interested in one of these. What this is of course, you can go ahead and get your entire game in here. It's pretty awesome. So the top layer, of course, has all my miniatures. I haven't finished painting them. Actually, Colin has a complete set of Sword and Sorcery painted, so I kind of stopped, and we've been playing that. We also have, of course, our doors up here. We have some of our treasure chests and things of that nature. They're all on the top layer. So we're going to go ahead and push that back down, and then this thing opens up underneath, and it has all my books, all my tiles, everything that I need for Sword and Sorcery. It's all right in here. Sorry, I bumped the camera. I even have them in these little super stackers here. These are also really cool. These are my I think they're called super stackers. But I have all my different soul shards here. These are all the different characters all put together in these things. I have my enemies in some. So and I have my bigger enemies way back down in there. So this is really a neat system. I've used it for a lot of different dungeon crawlers. Sorry I'm banging the camera so much, but this thing kind of does that. On the sides, of course, we also have all of our dice, all of our tokens, everything we're ever going to need to use in this game. I've got all my dice right over here, which I believe they're going to be the same dice. I'm going to check them, which means I have an astronomical amount of dice. But it has all the different tokens. Here's my coins if I need them. Or we can just go ahead and go over to this side. We have the rest of our tokens over here. We have some of our flight tokens, our armor tokens, our health tokens. These aren't health tokens. Our critical hit tokens. Everything is all right here. It's all right here. All of it. This is Sword and Sorcery. There is not a weird system that you have to put in like 2 different boxes or anything. I have it all right here. That's a super satchel. So in case you're wondering, now you know. And there you have it. That is the unboxing of Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles. This is the second big box from Sword and Sorcery from Ares Games. Super excited to get to this table. Like I said, Colin and I are going to be doing a playthrough together on this. So you're going to see the video both on my channel and also on One Stop Co-op Shop. I'm going to be feverishly painting these models up so we can get these onto the table and played as soon as we can. And like I said, Colin's in the middle of reading the rules right now. If you did enjoy the unboxing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell symbol so you know when the playthrough comes out. Also, please feel free to leave anything in the comments below. If there's a certain character you want us to play, we'll try to see if we can make it work. Go ahead and let me know. We'll see what we can do. Thanks again for watching, and if you're excited to see Sword and Sorcery Ancient Chronicles, then I need you to meet me at the table.